we took it upon ourselves to say, hey, we're going to create this platform inclusive for us, by us, that not only promotes equity and financial literacy and all these things, but helps people succeed, and helps people expand their mindset. Yes, you can make it happen in the Bronx. Yes, you can do it here, stay here, give back to your community, and have a prosperous and sustainable life. And that's what we are, we champion small business owners. We champion people that are out here in the community being that change, right? Because we got to be that change. And that's what we're doing, overall, changing the narrative and being that spokesperson for the Bronx through the work.
Welcome to The Nugget. We are here today with Amaurys Grullon, who is a creative social entrepreneur with a lot of accomplishments. He's a graphic designer, documentary filmmaker, TEDx speaker, and co-founder of clothing line Bronx Native. He's worked with some super iconic New Yorkers, including Kerry Washington, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and more. He's the owner of innovative music platform Tag Up Studios, and he's a bona fide native and success story of the Bronx. Welcome to The Nugget.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here. Let's make it happen. Let's talk about some nuggets.
Yeah, so I wanted to start off by asking you to define what is a creative social entrepreneur, because it seems like you have a million jobs and you made that up.
You wear a lot of hats.
I'm like, you know what? Today I'm going to pick these three words.
Yeah.
So a creative social entrepreneur. So that's like my official overall title. I do a lot of things. I have a lot of hats. But ultimately that's my passion. A lot of times we talk about, find what makes you happy, find your destiny, what you're passionate for. And I found it. I am a creative social entrepreneur. So what that means, first and foremost, I am a creative, right? I express myself through different mediums. I am an artist. So that's why that first creative is there. I see myself as a creative first, and then as a social entrepreneur, right? I'm an entrepreneur, been an entrepreneur almost my whole life. And a lot of my ventures have a social component, right? That's why I attached that social element to it, because essentially what we're trying to do is solve a problem with our businesses, with our design, with our art. And I always believe in the community, believe in us, and that's what we're trying to do, create social change, social impact through our mediums, through our art, through our platform. So that's essentially why my title is creative social entrepreneur. Yeah.
Okay. So the creative is art, the
Yes.
social is people, the entrepreneur is hustle.
Hustle,
Okay,
money.
cool.
Let's get
I
it.
got you.
Yes,
I
yes.
got
Do a lot of hustling.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The grind don't stop,
It
Yes.
don't. But let's take it back a little bit. You're from the Bronx. You
Yeah.
were loud and proud.
Yes, indeed.
What does your childhood look like? Take us to like a typical day for you as being a child from the Bronx.
Being a little kid growing up in the BX. I had a dope. I would say I had a beautiful childhood in the BX. Really taught me and created me. I always say, I am the Bronx because the Bronx chose me. I didn't choose it. My mom came in the 1980s to the BX and to the Mecca and had me here. I was born and raised in the South Bronx, and I grew up on Longwood, Hunts Point, which is the southernmost part of the BX on the 6th line. And I was always, like I said, I was always a creative. So I was always drawing. I was always tapping into other stuff. I was, blessed to have parents that supported, that believed, might not understand fully what we're doing. My mom, she's an old school Dominican, out there. So, their mindset is in a different space, in a certain space. But either way, always supported, always showed love, and made sure that we did what we did. Shout out my sister. She just graduated.
Congratulations.
Shout out to all the graduates of 23. She graduated from Parsons.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, the School of Design. She's a fashion designer.
Wow, so creativity is
yes,
running through the family.
Yeah. No, it's in the blood. It's in the DNA. But yeah, growing up in the BX, super dope. Always stood inspired. A little bit again about my upbringing. My mama grew up in church too, Pentecostal. You already know.
Yeah.
So I was a church kid. I was doing my thing, and it wasn't only the being creative through visual art. I was also a bass player in the church, so I always
Oh, wow.
exercise my passion through music and what we did, and it was a beautiful time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like do you feel like the Bronx gave you an avenue to be creative? Because I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of times, I mean, for me, we had music in school and like we had instruments, but I know kids now, like music programs get
Yeah.
cut, like, they go to tagging or kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
other outlets. I
Yeah.
wonder, was it a barren place or could you really easily find like access to creative outlets?
Yeah, no, I again, hashtag blessed. I
Yeah.
got to thank God and thank the
I know
people
that's
around
right,
me
yeah.
and my environment, because I was able to propel myself, and I was giving the resources to make it happen. So I was in school and I took art every class, every semester, every year. I went to amazing schools in the Bronx, right? Shout out St. Ignatius, shout out Cardinal Hayes High School, up Hayes and Law, you men, you already. And these schools helped me explore my creativity. They helped me with amazing professors that inspired me, that pushed me, and
You went to Bronx Community College, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
Research.
I like that. I like that. So after Cardinal Hayes, I went to Bronx Community College. That school was also for me a big stepping stone. The professors truly believed in me and really pushed me to my potential. And around that time was when I really opened my eyes and I said, you know what? I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm gonna make it happen. I was 19 years old, opened my eyes. Around that time, we are a little distracted. There's so many things going on, teenager, this and that.
Mhm.
And I said, you know what? I want to do great things. I got to apply myself, and I'm going to make these things happen. And that's when I started doing my freelance career. I started getting clients, providing services.
This is for graphic design.
Graphic design. I was doing logos, doing photography, doing, again, multimedia services. But
all under the same umbrella.
shout out. Yeah. Just that's why I say creative. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Now,
yeah.
we do all these different things. But shout out BCC, Bronx Community College.
Are you enjoying the conversation? Please like and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications and be the first to know when new episodes drop. Please comment below.
Would you say it seems like you always had a level of confidence. Would you say as a kid, like you were one of those real confident, like I know I'm going to be someone, or do you think it came over time?
I think it was always there foundationally. Like I was like, yo, I got this. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, no, there's no turning back. There's no plan B.
Yeah.
Like we doing this, I think as I grew up and as my career continued, and I saw the fruits of my labor, I saw the journey. I've been through a couple things. Now I'm like, a little bit more seasoned, of course.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, now even more,
I feel like when me being from Syracuse, New York, which seems like so different than New York City.
Yeah.
I always tell people like when I was in college, that was when I had my first encounter with people from New York City. Like, and I always be like, it was like a culture shock. I'm like, every time I meet someone from the city,
Big
they're confident, big personality,
huge.
super confident. And to me, it was intimidating.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel like we in Syracuse kind of grew up with that same energy, even though we're still from New York. It just felt so different. I always give my credit to, people from the Brooklyn, from Bronx, all these things, because I feel like you guys had to grow up a little bit faster. And the world was like, you had so much you were exposed to early on. But I also think that made you guys more like you hustle more, be more confident, understanding yourself and being super self-aware. Would you say that that's true? Because I mean, from the outside looking in, I can say that, but how do you feel about that?
Honestly, I've been all over the world. I've been to other cities in the U.S. Everything is unmatched. The energy, the experience, the New York City experience. We grow up in a certain environment. Everyone's loud. Everyone's like, yo, we gotta stand out. We gotta do this. You gotta. So you do grow up in a certain environment where you gotta hustle. You gotta grind. You gotta make it happen. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Because NYC, BX, number one. You know, BX
You
and
know,
BX.
it's kind of funny that you're like Bronx number one. I see the hat.
Yeah.
I heart Bronx. Like
Nice.
you're really,
Come on.
you're definitely a spokesperson for the Bronx. But I live uptown. I'm literally like a
Yeah.
stone's throw from the Bronx, like 155th.
Let's
Like
get
literally
it.
less than 5 minutes from the Bronx. And
Nice.
I've been in the Bronx, and I feel like, do you feel a pressure to represent it a certain way, like the highlights of it, because so often is portrayed as sort of like this violent place or this
Yeah.
extremely tough, gritty place to grow up? Because you haven't said a single thing about. We know what the Bronx is looking like even now, or
Yeah,
even
yeah,
the
yeah.
quality of the schools.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure that these are things that, given you're so impassioned and involved in that community, like
Yeah.
you think about often. You
Yeah,
see
no,
it.
no.
You
Every
live there.
day, you know,
Yeah.
I'm living it every day, and that's the main reason we created Bronx Native was to
Yeah, talk
change
about that, yeah.
change that narrative, right? Grew up in the BX, like we mentioned, and my whole life I heard negative things, not
Yeah.
only from outside people from outside of the Bronx, but also people inside
the
the Bronx,
Bronx,
right? Oh, the
yeah.
Bronx is this, the Bronx is that. And initially, it starts with a mindset. It starts with the perspective. And what makes the borough is the people. And when we're talking about our people, we're talking about Black and brown. We're talking about immigrants. We're talking about disenfranchised communities that have not been given the right the platform, right, resources, and things to elevate, to express, and to do these things. And that's why we took it upon ourselves to say, hey, we're going to create this platform inclusive for us, by us, that not only promotes equity and financial literacy and all these things, but helps people succeed, and helps people expand their mindset. Yes, you can make it happen in the Bronx. Yes, you can do it here. Stay here, give back to your community, and have a prosperous and sustainable life. And that's what we are, we champion small business owners. We champion people that are out here in the community being that change, right? Because we got to be that change, and that's what we're doing. Overall, changing the narrative, and being that spokesperson for the Bronx through the work, right? Through our social media, through our events, through our community outreach, and it's an everyday. I don't want to say it's war, but
No, it
we
is
out
war.
here. We in the trenches. Yeah.
It's interesting. I feel like as
Yeah.
a kid, like I'm from East Atlanta, and even though I
Yeah.
loved growing up there and I repped it, and I loved when ATL came out and like
Yeah.
T.I.,
Yes,
I
yes,
was
yes.
Nunu and all
Facts,
that,
facts.
but I would still be like looking out the window of the bus some days and being like, I can't wait to be literally anywhere else.
Yeah.
I feel like were you always like, oh, I want to come back to my community
Mm-hmm.
and give back? Or was there days that you was like on the 2 train, just like I could ride it all the way down to 34th and then end up anywhere in the world besides here, you know?
You know what's that's a great question. First time somebody asks me that. Honestly, again, unmatched energy. I got
I love
I
it.
got
I love
everything I
it.
need
Yeah.
right here. And
Wow.
the fact that it's an amazing thing that you can go outside, everyone knows you, your community's there for you, you got the local restaurant, you got the local barber, and it's just like building that at home is sometimes it's unheard of, because a lot of people, they do leave, especially, and that's the sentiment overall. I gotta make it out the hood. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna leave. But that's what we're also telling people, and it's called talent retention, right? How do we keep our talented young people and our entrepreneurs and business owners in our communities to help continue to amplify and better our communities, and that's one of the things that we do alongside other business owners, right? We are creating a utopia, because for me, the Bronx is the most beautiful place on earth, and I always bring it back to the people. I love my people, and we're building this world for them, for us, and we're going to continue. So, yeah.
I think living in the Bronx myself, that was my first place that I lived in New York. I think I can speak from experience. It's definitely a place where, people tend to look down on people there or look down on the experience, but I feel like it was a great first experience, like the great introduction into New York City to me, because it's just one of those places that you could still find some of the original buildings and
That's the real New
things.
York.
Yeah, it's the real New York, where it's like
Yeah.
you go in Brooklyn, it's a lot of gentrification, Queens, all these things, but the Bronx is just still good. You're gonna get that good bodega food. You're gonna get, you know what I'm saying? Like what? Like tell us about not only that, like what is like one. I guess I have a 2-part question. What's one of the biggest misconceptions that you had to like continuously battle with. And also, like, what is one of the best parts of it that you see people gravitate to or highlight, maybe in media, maybe in television and stuff, that you're like, that's true. Actually, we can, because I feel like the bodega, right? Like the bodega cat, like those are
There's
like
a couple of staples.
those are staples. Like now they're trying to replicate that, and even in LA, you'll see people they'll create
facts,
like bodegas, and I'm like, nah, but that's the Bronx.
This is
though,
the Mecca,
like that's the Mecca.
The chopped cheese, bacon, egg, and cheese. You know, all the cheese. You know, I'm in the shop. We have a physical store, 127 Lincoln Avenue in the South Bronx. We sell merch, but it's more than that. It's an experience. It's an interactive experience. And the misconception is just overall, people think they're gonna like either get shot, you know, they're gonna get jumped. It's this extremely dangerous place. The other day, somebody came from like out of town, and she was like, "Oh, can I pay with cash?" She literally had the cash inside her socks. You know, she was like, "Oh, somebody told me in the Bronx I gotta be careful." I was like, "Look, bro, it's not that serious." And the dollars was super soggy, and I was like, "Look,
right, cash at me."
So,
What?
you can sell me. You can sell me. No, but
The
you know,
disrespect.
and people come in. You know, oh my gosh, can I walk in the street? You know, this and that. You know, I've gotten asked, you know, in school, like, "Oh, have you ever been shot? Have you been, you know, stabbed?" And then
What
I'm just
is
like,
happening
"Damn!" I'm
here?
like, "Damn, these are the perceptions. You know, these are the ideas, and we see that because of the media. We see that because of movies, and just people chatting and stuff like that. And I just want to tell everybody out there, it's not that serious, man. You know what I mean? For me, I walk down the street, bliss. You know, everyone is Gucci, everyone's happy, and it ain't like that. You know, so I guess that's the overall one of the, you know. But there's of course a layered answer. But that misconception, I'm like, it's not that serious. You know, you're gonna be good, okay?
And then one thing that's dead true, like she said, like one thing.
Dead true. That we see in the out there in the media.
Like, what's one thing they get right?
Everyone, what you mentioned, you know what I mean? Everybody has big personalities. Everyone's like, you know, everybody's out here hustling. The grind is real, you know what I mean? And I think that's why, you know, I've been to LA, I've been to Miami, I've been to all the major cities, but the energy I see here of like to be an entrepreneur, to go out there and to really make an impact, I don't see no better platform than the stage that is New York City.
Do you have an audio podcast? Are you looking to grow your audience? Partner with Prosper Digital TV, a virtual and full-service video production company. Visit www.prosperdigital.tv or call 718-622-0062 to get started today.
The interesting thing to me is that the only people I know that have this amount of loyalty to their like immediate block neighborhood is gangbangers. I'm so serious, like no joke. I think it's actually crazy because when you find someone willing to like defend their block to that extent or being like, I'm never leaving, it's always the negative tribal mentality of a gang. But it's like you have that, but you've turned it into this love mentality. Like, and that's what, you know, because everybody I know that's like, I'll live here, I'll die here. It's always something that comes from a mentality of I'm fundamentally stuck here. But it seems like they
haven't traveled or they haven't been exposed.
Right. It's like you went around the world and came back.
You need to open up that, you know, and that's extremely important, to travel, to experience other cultures, to talk, to have, you know, meaningful conversations. And you know, go out there, open your mind, but don't feel that you are stuck here. Don't feel, and whatever change you want to do in your block, in your community, you could do it. Be that agent of change. But that's a great metaphor, the one of the gangbanger.
Yeah,
you're right.
I mean, but they feel like it's an associative thing, and I feel like it's because also people don't have a real sense of ownership besides like the proximity to their neighborhood or their project building. But you actually own a business. Like you have changed that whole loyalty mentality into real material ownership. I feel like that's a huge shift.
And that's heavy for us, right? Equity, ownership. You
talk
know,
about that.
Primarily, you know, our communities. We created all of this, right? When we talk about hip hop, when we're talking about salsa, when we're talking about, you know, and hip hop is not only a music genre, right? There's 5 elements of hip hop. Y'all know
Break it down for everybody.
Real quick. 5 elements of hip hop.
Tell
so
me.
we got MC, right? Which is rap, master of ceremony. We got
DJ,
DJ,
I know you was
graffiti, b-boy, and beatboxing, right? Those 5 things. But more than that is a lifestyle, right? And it's the biggest genre right now in the world. And it came from the Boogie Down Bronx, right? From us.
And it's the 50th year, right?
And shout out hip hop. 50 years of hip hop, you know?
And I've been enjoying seeing so many different takes on it. There's been so many different events and just publications kind of honoring the 50 years. And I do like that every time that I've seen it, they go back to where it started from, which is the Bronx. So I know that's got to feel special to you this year, right?
Who are your biggest hip hop inspirations?
Hip hop inspirations. Before I answer that, real quick, shout out the Universal Hip Hop Museum, which is opening next year. You know, the Bronx is finally gonna have a hip hop museum.
Right.
So that's really exciting. Hip hop inspiration from back in the days, or because I have
just break it down.
Let
Just
us
everything. Yeah.
50 Cent. You
Okay.
already know.
Okay.
50 Cent's my boy, keeping it in New
That's
York.
your workout music.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you watching Power then?
So I the new season, the new book, I haven't, but I seen the previous with
They
Ghost.
need to come film in the Bronx.
They do.
They
do.
need to come up there.
I know they
yeah.
be, but shout out 50, shout out everything he's done, you know, and shout out just our people going out there making it happen and just creating that equity in spaces that we don't normally see it. You know, now we're making shows, documentaries, all these things. Right now, you already know I'm messing with my girl Ice Spice.
Ice Spice.
You already know. You thought I was feeling you? Come on,
It's the Ice Age.
I knew you were gonna
it's
say
the
that.
Ice Age. You know,
And
shout
she's
out for
real,
them.
like, she's her. Like,
Yeah,
she's not
yeah.
changing up. I love that she hasn't
She is
changed.
iconic Bronx for sure.
Yeah, she is. Like, I'm like,
yes.
yo, she still looks like the Bronx. Thank God. Like, she hasn't tried to change who she is. Like, I know that's like,
we vibe with her. You know, we're fans. You know, and again, the Bronx breeds greatness. You know what I mean? Shout out Cardi B, French. There's a new girl, Scarlett. I don't know if y'all heard
I've
her.
never heard of her.
She killing it in the streets. But shout out, just all the creatives doing it up out here. You know, in the BX. So.
I want to talk about some of your iconic collaborations.
Yeah.
So I know Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you know, she reps the Bronx just as hard. So
Yeah.
So I want to know, like, what kind of work have you done with her? Like, what is your dream collaboration? Let's get into the work.
Yes, AOC. Shout out to her. Shout out all the women out there making it happen. Love. So AOC, one of the first places she campaigned was actually in the shop. You know, when she started her career, it was very inspiring for us.
In your shop?
In my shop,
Okay,
yeah.
wow.
So it was
Yeah.
inspiring for us to see somebody, you know, that looked like us, you know,
Our
going
age.
out there, our age, you know, because she's like literally a couple years older than me, but doing her thing, you know, being vocal and creating that narrative, right? Of like, yo, yes, there could be people from the Bronx, women from the Bronx that go out there and become politicians and create that change. And she reached out to us on the gram. You already know.
Oh wow, she hopped in your DMs.
Yeah.
She slid in the DMs.
She slid into the DMs, and I was like, hey,
Nice.
what's up, AOC? And she was like, hey, we want to create an event. You know, she was campaigning at the time, and I said, of course, let's make it happen. And it was a beautiful event. It was around 2018, right before she won. And that was kind of like the beginning of that relationship. And she's, you know, been a great supporter to us, wearing the merch. When we had a GoFundMe during the pandemic, she supported us heavy. She promoted us. When she won, she actually shouted us out, you know. So, you know, shout out to her doing her thing. Keep making it happen. And we're all here for you. So shout out AOC. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that? I mean, I know that she gets a lot of flack. Like, the higher up these politicians go, like, the more they seem sort of disconnected from their community. Do you think that she's been able to keep, like, that real? Or
Yeah. I think, you know, I mean, it's always tough. I feel, you know, no one knows the grand scope or like the true dirty for her, but I know it's tough, you know, balancing still being community, being out there in Albany, you know, being in DC, and making sure you have a good balance for that. But I think she does, you know, she has her offices here. I always see her in events and stuff like that. She's always giving back.
She's still touching the city.
She's still here, you know. So we commend her.
But I mean, I almost want to flip it and ask you the same question. Like, will you ever get bigger than the block? You think? Like, you think you ever, I think,
yes. We're call me Mr. Worldwide,
OMG.
305.
Oh my gosh. I did not see that one coming.
Let me stop. No, we are here. Of course, we're going to keep doing the work that we're doing, hyper local, BX, the city, but we going everywhere, right? We got international fans as well. We have a large supporting group in Japan, Germany. Right. Those people out there love hip hop, love the culture, and they're coming to the shop. They're buying our stuff online, and we eventually want to tap into everything, and also with our nonprofit, which is called Change the Narrative. We are working to create the initiative that we are doing in our community, but do it all over the world in other communities that also need help or have disenfranchised people that need that platform and need to change the narrative. So it's a universal, what we're doing is a universal concept, I would say, and just a universal thing. So we're here from the block to the world.
It's beautiful because not only will you help people to see the value in the Bronx or where you're from and the love you have for it, but you'll also help other people in places where they think that, okay, I have to turn my back on where I'm from in order for me to make it. It's like you don't, you don't have to go so far to be successful in any way. You can always get back to your community in some ways, whether you do leave or not. You can do that. I think that's a great way to showcase it through all your business endeavors. The fact that you're so rooted in it, the fact that you're gonna wear it proudly, because we do see that a lot. Everyone thinks that they have to go to New York or LA to be super and I'm not Bronx, I'm talking about like Manhattan or something, to be successful, go to Hollywood to be successful, but you're like showing them like, no, you can do this where you're at. How does that feel for you? And how do you keep yourself stimulated enough to continue to push people and motivate people?
But wait, let me push back on that for a second, because I think it is a real thing that sometimes people really can't go home.
Oh, like I'm not going home.
No,
so
I mean like I feel like Diddy really can't go back to Harlem, like for several reasons.
Well,
we won't get into
that.
But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it really is a thing where you do exceed your block at a point. Like where I do sometimes I'll walk down the streets of Harlem and I'll be like, wow, I've been here for 10 years. Like Harlem is home for me. I feel like an adopted daughter of Harlem, but I do think of a day when it's like you can't just walk the streets. And it's the environment, it's the way people deal with fame or the way that people deal with success or jealousy. Like I feel like on a philosophical level, like obviously you're going global. Like you could just tell it's giving global. But I think like on a just personal emotional level, it gets difficult when one day you're like, I might exceed this. Like I might grow too big for my britches.
Well, I guess I wasn't thinking about it from that perspective, but that is a good point of like, because a lot of people, you even see that in rap nowadays. They say you can't go back to where your block and stuff. But I guess I was saying it from more of a perspective of, for instance, me. I'm from Syracuse. When I go back, not to say I think I'm too big for that place, because I don't see a lot of opportunities. Facts. But even hearing you talk in this moment has made me realize, okay, maybe I can take some of my learnings as I've traveled, as I've lived in other places, and bring it back to my community to give back to it. And I think that sometimes we do forget about where we come from in that way. Not necessarily where I need to go place myself back in Syracuse to do that, right? But to actually just show that, like, take parts of what you're learning along your journey and just put it back into your community in ways. So that's what I was taking from. That's why I was asking you more so from that perspective.
Yeah. No, definitely. And everybody has their own journey and their own timeline. For me, this is what works for me. I do agree with the sentiment of sometimes we do need that breather. Sometimes we do need to step outside of where we're at to really understand and come back better and stronger. So I definitely agree with that. But yeah. And I know when we get there, because we will, and you can't really just move the same way as you were before and be as accessible. And I've been learning that, recently I'm like, I can't be as, I can't be in all the mix sometimes, because we are.
Ooh, break that down. Get into that. Break that down. Because that's what I'm actually trying to say. Is that I know some people, I know Davies owns bodega up the street from my house. Like he can't just go there all hours, like a smoke shop, up the street. But you can't be in the mix. And I think especially when you're the hood hero and like you're the first to get it, shouted out in the VIP section at the club. There comes a time where as a business owner, as a man, like you do really step into a place inside yourself, where you're just like, there's something else I have to do. Like that
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
not it's not bigger than this, but it's beyond this in some ways.
Yes,
I want you to speak to that.
respectfully, yeah. Because sometimes it could be, people, oh, he's getting Hollywood. Oh, you don't got love, you don't got
Tell
time.
us about that, yeah.
But that's part of the entrepreneurial journey too. You got to keep going. You got to stay focused. You got to sacrifice. You got to cut people off. You got to learn where you got to be.
But tell us about what you've had to do, like specifically. Like, can you come on your blog? Yeah, like staying off the mix.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just about knowing your goals, like where do you want to go, and it's just like, okay, am I going to be in this space forever? Am I going to be with the same people?
Do your exes show up to your shop?
Not
exes?
the exes.
No, that's a real thing. Actually, that's a real thing. Like exes, old friends from elementary school asking you for money.
Yeah.
Like really for real. No, like please.
A
Like,
couple of them have asked me for money, which is like, damn, like, okay. But
did call you
of
the
course.
hood
I mean,
hero, so-
I
It is a
grew.
hood
I'm
hero.
still in the same. In a way, in the same place that I grew up in.
right,
So,
exactly.
so that happens every day. I'm seeing people from middle school. I'm people seeing, from old jobs, from, and it's just like, for me, I have nothing to hide. So I'm just like, yo, what's up? I'm Gucci, we're thriving.
Your character.
I hit them with the smile and I hope you're well. You know what I mean? Let's keep working. Let's keep building. Let's keep making it happen. But it's about, delegation, is about prioritizing, you know what I mean? And just look, if this is not going to benefit me in the long term, or this is not going to help me in any type of way, I'm not going to be there. You know what I mean? There's no time to waste. And that's what I meant when I say, sometimes you got to be like, yo, that mix, I'm not on that anymore, or I'm not doing that today. Stay focused, stay on brand, and just keep going. And we're always changing, we're always growing, we're always evolving. So that looks different every day. You know what I mean?
How do you find peace in this time, right? Because I also feel like the reason I couldn't live in the Bronx anymore is because I feel I'm constantly overstimulated there, and I'm constantly sorry about that. I'm constantly overstimulated in the Bronx. I'm always feeling like there's people everywhere all the time, everywhere. Do you have another space that feels like home to you that's outside of the Bronx that makes you maybe it's like, okay, it's a little less populated, it's my safe haven, it's just for me, it's my place where I go to find my refuge?
So I personally love being overstimulated.
What?
Yes.
I love that answer.
I consider myself a maximalist because I want more of more, and I want the max of everything. But I do, you need to find that peace within that, it's not easy, I would say. I'm just cut from a different cloth. I'm cut from that particular cloth, and I thrive there, Libra gang. This is what we do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, equilibrium is our thing. That's true.
We vibe with that. But for me, I got my home. You already know where I currently lay my head.
Yeah.
And,
look at the smile with it when you say it.
I love that.
It's so much pride.
It's there, but everywhere I'm at, all of my businesses, either the shop, my studio, wherever I'm at, I feel at peace. You know what I mean? I'm happy. I'm blessed. I'm doing what I love, what I'm passionate about, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Are you enjoying the conversation? Please like and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications and be the first to know when new episodes drop. Please comment below.
Was there ever a moment where you were just like, not like F this, but like you really were thinking like maybe I've gone down the wrong path? I feel like I've never met an artist that didn't at one point. I feel like you almost get proved as an artist or as an entrepreneur in those moments where you're like, I should have did something. I should have been an accountant. I should have stayed in my lane. Like I should have did literally anything else besides this. I feel like what was that moment for you?
I think every day. You know what I mean? Doubts come in and out every day. You're like, holy moly. Like, you know what I mean? This is it.
Yeah.
There's high highs, there's low lows. But you need those low moments to make who you want to be, right? No pressure, no diamond. I want all the pressure. I want all the smoke, because I know that once I get through that, I'm going to be stronger, I'm going to be better, and I'm going to be one step closer to where I ultimately want to be. So I'm here for all of it. But you got to stay motivated. You already know, you got to stay active. and just look at the bigger picture. You know what I mean? And I'm in too deep. You know, so I can't look back.
Yeah, I want
Go
to
ahead.
go a little bit deeper in that, just to say, like, you know, there's a lot of kids that they want to start a shop or they want to have like
Yeah.
some sort of business, but you're thinking like permits, you're thinking funding,
Mhm.
money. Like,
Mhm.
what was that process like? Because I
Yeah.
feel like, you know, I had a dream. I was like, oh, maybe I'll start a bookstore. Like, I love writing, I love reading.
should.
But then I really was
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
went past some shops and I was looking at it and I was thinking of business loans and credit and things like that. Like, how do you get over that mental hump? Like,
Yeah.
what was
Mhm.
that like? Because you
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
physical space. That's more than a
Facts.
lot of people have.
Facts. No, and that's things that, you know, I'm
Did you have
going
like a
through now.
mentor? Or?
Yes, I believe in mentorship. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Find them.
Amen.
You know,
Who are yours?
I got a couple mentors. I have mentors in different fields. You know what I
Okay.
mean? That
Yeah.
are kind of masters
Yep.
in that field, and I go for advice or
Mhm.
help. Like when it comes to screen printing, I have, you know, a couple mentors in
Oh,
that realm because we have
yeah.
a screen
Dope.
printing shop as well. Just entrepreneurs in general, right? There's people in
Yeah.
my community that are, you know, serial entrepreneurs that have many other ventures, restaurants, and we tap in all the time. You know, have these conversations anytime I need help. I'm not afraid to go ask. I'm not afraid
So
to
you
to-
pursue them.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So you know, but some of them did happen organically. Like we were
Yeah.
just working, we started, you know, tapping in and stuff
Right.
like that. Most of them, that's how it happens. I don't normally just go up there like, "Hey, bro, I want you to be my mentor."
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But it just kind of happens organically. But yeah, I believe that's heavily important for the journey because you can't do it alone. You know, if you're gonna
Absolutely.
do
Yeah.
great things, you need a great team and a great environment. You know, that phrase, it takes a village
Mhm.
It
to raise a
does.
kid. You know, a business is a kid. You know,
Mm.
a brand. You know, so it takes a village. It
business
takes
is a
everybody.
What chapter of
Yeah.
your life do you think has been the most vital to your personal and professional like development? Like when you look back on
Yeah.
everything, like which time period in your life?
I would say the time period where I opened up my shop, Bronx Native shop, which was in 2017, October 2nd. That's when we opened up the shop. And I think that was a pivotal moment in my life for both my career and my personal because I kind of just launched into this new environment. You know, I never worked retail in my life. We were doing
Oh,
Bronx
wow,
Native
aren't you
already.
blessed?
Yes, yes. I was like, the
Girl, I
opportunity-
did that American Apparel bid, that prison
Baby,
bid.
Forever
I did that.
21.
Yeah,
Forever
I was
21
American
had me at
Apparel
the
girl.
chokehold.
Yep,
That's
yep.
crazy. The bid, but
It was a bid.
Yeah. But it was a moment of a lot of just learning, not only about the business and about retail and about just running a retail store, but also personally, right? All the people that I had to engage with, all the new clients, the new connections, and I. You know, I kind of grew up. You know what I mean? I was like 23, 24.
Wow. That's young.
So I was, you know, I'm already there, but it was right after college, and I just dove in there, and it was a pivotal moment. You know what I mean? Pivotal moment for me. I learned so much. I connected with so much people, and I appreciate that moment a lot.
I
So,
feel like that area of your life, like that time, you have a lot less knowledge, but you also have a lot less fear. Like I
yes,
remember as
yes.
soon
I've been
Yep.
thinking
I
about
told
that,
people
yeah.
when I graduated from Columbia, I told people, they were like, oh, go to business school, go to law school. You already had a full ride. And I was like, no, I'm gonna try to be an artist.
Yeah,
I told people, I said, even if I spend
I love
5
it,
years
yeah.
doing this, in 5 years, I'll still have a Columbia degree. Like I
Yeah.
could easily go into finance or do whatever. I said, this is the time where I really have to try.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I see a lot of people after the pandemic, all those jobs they thought were secure, like finance or tech, like
Facts.
they were less secure than they thought. And so I feel like, yeah, there's just something about youth, you know, about like being young at that time
Yeah.
that you're just like,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
it.
I agree. No,
Yeah.
and I was thinking about that too, because now, you know, now where I'm at, like I'm overthinking stuff. Like,
Yep.
damn, you know what I
Yep.
mean? This is that. Like,
You
you
get
know,
that first
but
check.
back in the day,
Yep.
I was just like, bah,
Bah,
like,
bah,
who
yeah.
cares, bro?
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna go out.
how do you
it's
get
gonna-
back to that creative
Yeah,
center?
no, it's
That's
true,
like a
it's true.
big
I'm
question now,
working
right?
on that. I'm working on that. But
I feel like
yeah.
it's funny because when I was 24, I moved to New York City by myself.
Nice.
$3,000, lived in the Bronx.
Yeah, so it was
And,
similar.
and everybody thought it was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Like my parents was like, "Why would she go out there? Like,
Yeah.
why would she want to live?" And it's like I was fearless. I was like, I'm here, baby. I don't know what we're finna do, but I just graduated college. I'm here. Like I'm here. And I feel like now I tend to overthink everything. I tend to kind of go back into like, what am I doing? Why is this happening? What
your brain
which kind of sucks because
it
it doesn't allow you to be your most authentic self, honestly, because you have so many things, and that comes with adulthood too, responsibility.
Reward,
you can't take as much risk as you were able to. And I'm a risk taker. I take risks every day. I live on the edge. So it does kind of, but it's about finding that balance. You know what I mean? Because you can't go too crazy. You gotta be smart about stuff, a little bit more logical and strategic. But I do want to go back to that kind of innocence, in the beginning of my career.
What do you do to tap into it? Like as far as like creative, like how do you get into your creative mode? Like when you're really thinking of like, okay, I'm thinking of original ideas, or I know you're involved in music a lot.
Yes,
so you talk about
music, graphic design,
you're
film.
getting into film now?
Film, everything. Yeah, so talk about your artists, the creative.
A lot of the times, when creating original ideas, I like to talk with other like-minded individuals that are entrepreneurs or creatives, because you just got the creative juices flowing, right? Having conversations, and I think that's one of the most important things in life, right? To have enlightening conversations and to have just conversations that are impactful, and that you learn from, you hear different perspectives, you create solutions, which doesn't sound that crazy, like, but it's tough for people sometimes.
I mean, if your shop serves as a hub for that, it's because I feel like a lot of times what people lack is a space more than anything to talk through ideas. Like people need a cafe or a workshop or a studio. Like, so if you created that kind of,
Let me ask you a question. So everyone knows I'm the film person here. I love film, right?
Yeah,
and when I think about it, I'm like, I think about the greatest things that I've seen over the last few years, whether it was film or television. Like we talked about this prior, but it's just like when I think of Lin-Manuel, I think of In the Heights. When I think of Issa Rae, I think of Insecure. When I think of Spike Lee, I think of Do the Right Thing. What does that look like for you? Or The Bronx? Like, do you draw inspiration from like seeing people like that who elevated where they came from in film and in television? And if you can think of a story that you would tell, what would that be?
Yes, I am super inspired and empowered by each of the individuals that you just mentioned, and people that are like that. I love people that are multi-potentialite, that exercise their creative through different mediums, right? Writing, producing, acting, Lin-Manuel, right? Rapping, music, a play, Hamilton, and
we love it.
Yeah, we love Hamilton. Love it.
I'm a big Hamilton fan.
I love Hamilton.
We gotta go toe to toe one day.
Facts. Right. No, the soundtrack that go crazy. But I'm on that. Actually, fun story. I waited online to see him and Lin-Manuel and Hamilton. And I didn't even know what was the play about. I was like, well, who is this guy? He's on the $10 bill. He created the bank system. I'm like, but then I see it and I'm like, it's like rap, it's hip hop. And I was
one of the most inspiring things I've ever seen in my life. Like,
and also to see Black and brown people, retell history in our way, super empowering. And the whole story that he came from the Caribbean, he basically came with nothing but his wits and all that stuff. So
I want to see you retell a story or tell a new story of something that we haven't seen from the Bronx. And I feel like what you dabble into filmmaking now.
Change the narrative. I think that's what it Talk a little bit about your film.
What are you gonna some things you're gonna do?
So we have a lot of different projects. I would say if I can pinpoint just one thing that could be, like my Do the Right Thing or, In the Heights would be just Bronx Native in general, just the whole brand, because it really represents the Bronx in the bestest of way, is a multi-layered, ecosystem. But yes, film is heavy important for me. I went to the School of Visual Arts, graduated in design and film. And I've always felt that film was one of the, I guess it's one of the more tougher mediums, because all the funds, the team, all these things that need to come together to create a project. But it's one of the most effective mediums to tell a story and to kind of just visualize something, right? Because it takes so many components.
Do you have an audio podcast? Are you looking to grow your audience? Partner with Prosper Digital TV, a virtual and full-service video production company. Visit www.prosperdigital.tv or call 718-622-0062 to get started today.
And we have a short documentary called Change the Narrative, which is out right now to the public. It really took the story of us working with youth in the Bronx and collectively creating a shirt with them. We talked to them about entrepreneurship, creativity, and basically told them, their idea became a physical shirt. I remember when I first made my shirt, and I saw people wearing it, I saw people buying it, and I remember that feeling that it gave me of empowerment. I was like, wow, an idea that I actually had in my head became a reality. I'm selling it, I'm making money. Just that whole concept, it might seem like now, like, oh, that's regular, because everyone, kind of has a brand and stuff. But for a
but
youth,
not a good brand.
yes,
You
facts.
have
Man,
a good brand.
we got the best brand. You
You're
already know.
passionate, yes.
But for a kid, growing up, that feeling, I'm sure they're gonna remember that forever, right? And that's what we did. We documented the whole project, and we basically showing how we're changing the narrative in our communities, and then we want to prompt people to change the narrative in whatever form or way they can as well. So it's out now on our YouTube, Bronx Native, and we have another documentary coming out. So stay tuned.
Oh,
It's
no
gonna
way.
be
Can you tell us
litty.
anything about it or not?
Yeah, definitely.
Give us a little exclusive.
A little sneak peek right here for the Nugget, So we actually documented during the pandemic us opening up our recording studio and our print shop, right?
Tag Up
Studios, yes. And we're putting that into a full-length documentary, about an hour. We shot for about 2 years. So it's really going to show the story of the actual hustle, the journey. It's going to show you what really happens behind closed doors. A lot of the times we post things on Instagram. People think that,
highlights.
oh, this is amazing. Your life is amazing. And it is amazing. But it comes with a lot of work and a lot of just ins and outs. And this documentary showcases all of that. There's also an educational component because we are basically, from my experience, showing them like, yo, this is how I'm doing stuff, and giving them tips, little blueprint. We're here for everybody to win, for everybody to, get the good news and make it happen. So coming soon, hopefully by the beginning of next year, 2024.
Once you finish
Congratulations.
this, I'm like, this is dope. I feel like after documentaries, you create a film. You're gonna create a film.
Yes,
you're gonna do it.
I want to create a more narrative, like a story about the Bronx, so it's coming in the near future.
Then we're gonna get a book.
Oh no, that's definitely coming.
She's manifesting for you.
Let's keep manifesting.
No, just because I feel like you have
building.
so many stories. You're such a good storyteller. Like you're an amazing storyteller. You have so many stories.
Thank
Like
you.
even in this moment, I'm like, there's probably so much more he hasn't told us.
No,
like
there's a lot. It's a lot.
there's a lot, and that's great. And I hope that you continue to document everything that you do, and that one day you'll be able to look back and be like write the book, and drop the 20-year documentary. You know what I'm saying?
Like
just
the
so
whole
so people can know like this is how I got here. Yeah, you already know.
Netflix, what's up? Yeah.
Well, one question I do have when you talk about this concept of changing the narrative, right? Like this is a very large narrative that people have about the Bronx or kids in the Bronx, but there's also like a self narrative that goes on. Like as you're going through becoming a creative social entrepreneur, before you get the accent in your name, when people are pronouncing it wrong and nobody knows when you're walking in the room, like. Someone asked me at a career day a few weeks ago, they were like, what is the hardest part about becoming an artist? And I told them like giving yourself permission to be an artist, because I think you come up with a million plan Bs before you just say, I think like we're the same in that very young, we decided, okay, we're going to be artists. Like there's not, but I think what could you say to those people who are, they're in law school right now, but they're actually wanting to be Broadway singers. Like, how do you change that inner narrative that, gain that confidence that maybe comes to you naturally, but I'm sure people on your team or people you've worked with don't have it so naturally.
Yeah, definitely. And you said it, you hit it on the nose when you said you got to look,
change the self-narrative.
Change your self-narrative first. It all starts from within, right? A mindset, you got to unlock yourself first in order to unlock everything else.
That's a bar.
Facts. Let me say that again. You got to unlock yourself first in order to unlock everything else. You know what I mean?
You just dropped that
there. I agree with that because and that's what I tell everybody. You know what I mean? Like first you need to get outside the box, don't be so narrow-minded. It's about being open, and I'm talking about being open to everything in life, to ideologies, to perspectives, to beliefs, to cultures. And I think when you're open, that comes back. You know what I mean? It's like that, the energy reciprocation. You put out good energy, you're open, you're there. That's gonna come back. That's gonna reciprocate. And it's not easy. You know what I mean? Because everybody, they got their family, they got their environment.
Yeah, you went
they
from
got a job.
Pentecostal,
Yeah.
like that's like Hellstone and Brimstone. I don't know if our viewers know what Pentecostal is, but that's literally like
it's cray-cray,
chastity belt,
Yeah.
like and so I mean, speak on it. Like,
Yeah.
how do you go from? I mean, sometimes you said you have supportive parents, and that's a beautiful thing. But I feel like if your narrative every day is this is what you're supposed to do, or even this is who you are, and that's what you're living with, like how do you shift from that self-talk to even just like against your negative self-talk about your body or whatever, and then to like, okay, this is who I am and I'm ready to do it.
Yeah, definitely. It takes discipline. It takes sacrifice.
Discipline.
And that's some of the things that a lot of times are not being said, right? It's a lot of work, right? To detach yourself, to imagine being in a certain environment for so long. You're used to it. You're comfortable.
Right.
You have to be comfortable in your uncomfortability, right? You have to love and embrace the struggle and the hustle to really overcome it in the best way possible and become what you want to become. And I was in church and I love it. I love that upbringing. I love the values that it instilled in me in the community sense. But I remember I was like, everyone around me, I have different ideas. I have different, everyone's this, the regular vibes, right? You get married, you got a job, you work at T-Mobile, which,
Not T-Mobile.
Yeah, it is, Or the post office.
Yeah,
Or the post office.
My friends from the Bronx really did that. They went and they worked at T-Mobile.
Damn. They're gonna be like,
I still have
really?
T-Mobile.
I can't show them this
though.
episode.
I still have T-Mobile.
Sorry, but no, T-Mobile's awesome. I'm in T-Mobile.
I also have T-Mobile. Yeah, okay. It looks like a brand deal.
Yo, T-Mobile, what's up? We talking gems out here. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I was like, there has to be more to life.
It's a
This
fear
cannot be it.
mentality. Yeah.
And I took that leap. I took that chance. And whenever I need to switch it up, when I need to pivot, I'm doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even though I'm scared, I gotta take a risk. I'm like, yo, we gotta make it happen. So take that leap, take that risk. It starts here first, here too. Connect the dots and do it up for y'all that are out there that are like maybe stuck in a certain place or want to pursue what you're passionate for. Take it step by step. A lot of people can't just take that leap, just quit their job, quit everything. Of course that's impossible.
We don't encourage that.
Yeah. But have a hobby, work on it on the weekends when you have time, instead of just, wasting time watching, this or that, or just,
Scrolling,
TikTok,
hours,
even though TikTok is very informative, I learned a lot of things, you know what I mean? But, do it up. Us as humans, we are resilient, we are amazing, we are ambitious, and we get shit done. Am I able to say shit?
I mean, if you get shit done, you get shit done. That's what it is.
No, we get stuff done, and yet we just got to tap into our full potential. Yeah.
When you speak of speaking of your full potential, I feel like I want to know I feel like I still haven't gotten to who you are. So if you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would it be?
3 words. Holy. Okay.
And without saying the Bronx.
Oh, damn.
Yep.
Damn, Bronx. I was going to say Bronx.
Listen, you can say it, but.
Yeah. No. Let me see. I would say I'm a problem solver. That's important really right there.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because life, there's a problem every two minutes. It's about how do you maneuver, how do you solve these problems, and talking about overall bigger problems. So I'm definitely a problem solver. We're here to change the world. Number 2. I would say I'm optimistic. You know what I mean? I'm here. My mindset, and I thank God all the time. I'm like, yo, thank you for making me an optimist, or my environment, whatever created this in me, because I talk to pessimists, I talk to realists,
Mhm.
and a lot of the times, I mean, yeah, they could be coming from but it's just like we got to keep going. One of the things that I always tell people in the journey is smile a little more, because life is gonna get a little better. You release endorphins, not only to yourself but to the people that are seeing you smile, and life is just a little better when you smile. So definitely optimist. And then the third one. I would say I'm a hard worker. You know what I mean? The hustle don't stop. The grind don't stop. We working every day, 24/7, 365. But it's what we love. It's what we are passionate about. So it's not work. We just living. We doing it up. So that's it. 3.
If you could go back to, let's say, 15-year-old Amaurys.
Yes.
And tell him, just give him words of encouragement or like really personal nuggets.
Mhm.
Like you're like, okay, Amaurys, like this is what we're about to do, or this is what you're
Yeah.
about to go through. Like, what would you say to him? Because I talk to my inner child all the time, like literally every day. She's probably tired of me.
That's
like,
fire.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's
That's
what's
I
up.
I
You gotta
even
talk to the
put
inner
like
child.
child photos of myself
Yeah.
in my house, and it had
And
me
then
connecting
wow.
with a
You've never
time.
experienced that before?
I think it's an important
I
thing.
speak to myself, but like you say, you do it every day. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
do.
wait,
I do it
I
regularly
should-
now. Yeah.
Okay, and
it's like
what
a-
is that like? And that empowers you.
I
like-
think it's for me, it was like I moved around a lot, and so it was very difficult. I forgot a lot of things. Like I wasn't one of those
Yep,
people with just a
same.
constant stream
Yeah.
of like a place, or
Yeah.
like I didn't have
Yeah.
associative memories with places. And
Mhm.
so when I started seeing, I just found all these childhood photos
Yeah.
of myself at my father's house, and I was like, wait, this is what I used to dress like, this is what I used to look like. And it was honestly a
Damn.
way of me stopping negative self-talk, to be honest. Like I would be like, you're too this or you're too that. And like with television, entertainment, it could be very difficult for women,
Yeah,
especially. And I told myself, every time you say something to yourself, you're talking to that little girl. Like
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
still in you.
Wow, that's
And so that's what I'm
amazing,
saying. Like when you're imagining like
Yeah.
15-year-old Amaurys, like the things you're saying to him, like just do that thought exercise with
yeah,
me.
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I know. I would. I definitely want to try that. So for me, I would just say keep going, buddy. You know what I mean? Keep going, little bud. You got it. 15 years old. What was I doing, man? I was I was in high school. I would just say, dive in even more. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you got it. You're gonna do great things. You're already doing great things. Just go in it even more. But overall,
Like don't
you
be
know,
afraid.
don't be, not that I was afraid or anything, but just go deeper. You know what I mean? Start earlier. You know what I mean? Keep going. I have honestly, and again, I've been blessed for that. No regrets. Me as a kid, I did my thing. I'm still doing my thing, and I just want to say, keep going. And you got it. Maybe that reassurance of like, look, life might seem crazy right now. There's so many things going on, teenager life, but you got it. Things are gonna be fine. Just keep being you. Keep being your most
Keep being
authentic
you.
self.
I
Yeah.
love that. I
Yeah.
love keep being
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
So we have this part of our show where we do the final nugget, and we'll say a sentence. You have to just finish it off. So we have about 5 of them. All right.
Okay. Let's get
Okay.
it.
So the path to success is paved with.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Wow, I did not expect that one. My mind is.
Beautiful.
You have a lot of occupations, so I'm just saying my occupation,
The creative social
creative
entrepreneur.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
creative social entrepreneur greatest tool is because you can you even
Your phone.
Ooh.
That's the best one I've heard. But keep going, because I
Your
was just
phone
Yeah.
is litty.
Don't let the grandparents hear that. Child. I wish the world was more.
Just a little bit more love, man. We need love out here. I
Love,
think that's
love.
love. Let's get it.
Tomorrow I will be.
Tomorrow I'll be a billionaire. You already know.
Period.
Yeah, we making
I
money.
love
We gotta
that.
secure the
What
bag.
is that? Your fellow Bronx? What do you say?
Yesterday's price is
It's
not today's price.
price.
Let's get it. No, we making money. We believe in wealth. We believe in us, and let's go out there, man. Secure that bag. Yeah.
Amaurys Grullon from the Bronx, thank you so much
much.
for joining us
Thank
on
you.
the
Thank
Nugget
you.
and for
Yeah.
sharing your wisdom.
Thank you. No, appreciate a beautiful conversation. Let's keep going.
So
then. Thank
let
you.
us know where can we find you? Where can we find your work?
Support you.
Yes,
you.
thank you. So yeah, definitely check us out on all social media platforms at the Bronx Native. Definitely follow us: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all that good stuff. My personal is at Amaurys Grullon. My full name Amaurys Grullon, Grullon. We have a physical store in the Boogie Down Bronx, 127 Lincoln Avenue. Definitely come by. Shout out Tag Up Studios. If you need a session, if you need a record, come check us out.
And you can bring cash.
Yes, cash. Well, you can't. Oh yeah. No, facts. Don't bring cash. We will not accept. No, we accept everything. We accept EBT, cash, all that good stuff.
Don't lie to the
what is
people.
But let me stop. But shout out to shout out all entrepreneurs, shout out all creatives out there. Let's keep going. You know, the journey is the reward. Let's get it.
Amazing.
Yeah. And real quick, can I get a yeah?